Hello, and welcome to RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged. And today I will be talking about the very unfortunate decline of the Ball Challenge. The first format of the Ball Challenge is the Final Four. We have 4 queens and 3 categories, so that's 12 looks total. I think this works pretty well, but let's look at some specific examples. The Season 1 ball is the Absolute Drag Ball. It is inspired by the different flavors of Absolute Vodka. I think this is a very interesting idea. This is not something I would have expected out of early Drag Race, but I do think it works. The performances in this challenge, I would say, were pretty good. BB's the clear winner, but Nina and Chanel both did fine. Ultimately, though, I think this is a very good representation of what a ball is and what a ball should be. On Season 3 of Drag Race, RuPaul for some reason became absolutely obsessed with design challenges. This season has 2 balls. The first ball is the Final 5 hair ball. Very interesting theme. I think making looks out of hair is a good idea. Unfortunately, not every queen used hair. Some queens just claimed to have used hair. I think this is a fine ball. It's not my personal favorite, but the lip sync was good and the looks were good. The second ball of the season was the Money Ball. This one was done at the Final Four. I really enjoyed this one. Everyone on the cast did well. Some queens definitely did better than others. Unlike with the hairball, no one really did badly. I don't believe there should be any more than like 2, maybe 3 design challenges per season. It was a bit much. I still enjoyed this, and as a challenge, the ball was still thriving. Season 5 was the Sugar Ball, and this is the end of the golden age of balls. So far, it has always been the same format of a theme, usually 4 queens. 1 winner, 1 high queen, 2 in the bottom, 1 goes home, and then they do the finale stuff. I think this is a very good format for the balls. It's not too much, and you still get to focus a lot on the queens. This is not my favorite ball ever, but I really did enjoy it. The lip sync was great. The ball challenge is thriving. We are now going into Season 6, and we have our first of many format changes for the ball. Instead of the Final 4, we now have a Final 5 ball. I think this is definitely a good twist. We get to see a bit more in terms of fashion, but we still get a lot of focus on the queens. Season 6 brings us the glitter ball. I don't think anyone really did well here. This challenge is in the bottom 5 worst balls. I just did not enjoy it. I didn't like anyone. It did give us some very iconic moments though, so I'm not going to complain too much, but we are now starting to see the challenge decline. It's not because of the format change, but it is definitely not as good as it used to be. Season 7 is the Hello Kitty Ball. I have no idea why. To this day, I don't know why they did this as a ball theme. Ultimately, though, this is very good. Violet did a great job, Pearl also was pretty good, Ginger did a solid job, and while Katya and Kennedy were pretty rough, this was still a good challenge. The ball still isn't where it used to be, but it's a huge improvement over Season 6, as at least someone actually did well. Season 8 is the book ball, and we are actually starting to see an upward trend here. The book ball was a very good challenge. Chi Chi DeVayne got the first ever shoot. Kimchi and Naomi also did really good jobs. Bob was fine, and Derek was the highlight of the episode. Her Untucked was absolutely hilarious. I love Misplaced Confidence, it was very funny. What makes this episode one of my favorites is Derek's mom runway. I don't know what would possess a person to dress as their mom the night they were conceived. Derek is an icon, I love her so much. This was a very good challenge, and one of the last truly good balls that we saw. Season 9 is the gayest ball ever, and I think this is the most entertaining a ball has ever been. Not every queen did well in the challenge, but the 2 who didn't, Peppermint and Alexis were both incredibly iconic. We have Peppermint giving us a great lip sync, and then we have Alexis's delusion in full swing. She almost went blind stoning her corset. I don't know what that means, and I don't know how that would work, but it was very funny. We also have Sasha Velour laughing in Alexis's face when Alexis said she was competition. Just all around a very funny episode, good lip sync. This may be a hot take. I think this is the last good ball challenge. It was absolutely the peak of the challenge. I think Final 5 is exactly where the ball should be. Sadly though, this is not something we have seen since. Following Final 9, we switch to the Final 11 format. Why? I want to know whose idea this was. I genuinely want to know who in Drag Race production said, you know what, I want 33 different looks on the runway. I want names. This was an absolutely atrocious decision, terrible idea, even worse execution. The next ball with this Final 11 format is the Season 10 Last Ball on Earth. Giving this ball as much credit as I can, doing it at Final 11 lets us see some very iconic moments like the lip sync, we see some very good looks like Aquaria and Mayhem, and we also get to see some very iconically bad looks like Cracker's, bikini, and then Dusty and Monet's final looks. I still don't like this. The final 5 of the season, which was Asia, Aquaria, Eureka, Cameron, and Cracker, would have been an equally entertaining ball. Production honestly could have extended it to a top 6 and included Monet, and it would have been a great challenge. Unfortunately, they hold it at Final 11, so a lot of people blend into the background. I did research on this ball to record this video, and I still couldn't tell you what Vixen was wearing. I couldn't tell you what Eureka was wearing. So many queens blend into the background with this format, it's a really bad choice. Season 11 is the Monster Ball. This is my personal favorite concept for a ball. The execution is kind of there, but it is once again screwed by Final 11. Weird choice, weird number to do a ball. Nonetheless, looking at the actual judging, very badly judged, Scarlett should have won. Doing it this early in the season leads to a lot of people getting overshadowed. Anyone out of Brooke, Scarlett, Plastique, Raja, and hot take, Nina, could have won, could have been in the top, and it would have made sense. Due to the Final 11 format, though, a lot of queens get pushed to the side, and I don't think that's fair. The lip sync isn't good, this is just all around a weak episode, bad judging, bad performances. We need Final 5 balls back, maybe even Final 6, it's whatever they're doing now, it just isn't working. Season 12 brings us the Balls Ball. It is definitely the best of the Final 11 balls, still kind of a low bar. This is a run-of-the-mill generic challenge. I think if you were ever going to show someone Drag Race, this could be a good episode for that. Doing these balls so early, this one was in episode 4, really hurts the season. One of the main issues I have with having balls this early, queens don't have time to adjust to critiques. Queens like Crystal and Heidi, who experienced a lot of growth during their seasons, didn't get to show any of that because of how early this was. They had only been critiqued by the judges twice prior to this. It's just not a good system. The ball challenge is about getting a sample of a queen's drag aesthetic and style. If you're going to be critiquing them on that throughout the season, you need to give them a bit of time to develop that and acknowledge those critiques before they have a challenge based off judging their personal style. Part of the reason the end of the season balls were so good is because you got to see a lot of growth throughout the season. Episode 1 Adore or Episode 1 Chi Chi, I don't think they would have been in the top for this challenge if they hadn't had that season worth of growth. We have arrived at the 4th format of balls, which is complete freefall. There is now no rhyme or reason to how the balls are structured, it's just 3 looks on a runway. The first ball in this seemingly random format is the Season 13 Bag Ball, which was held at the Final 12. This was a very controversially judged challenge. I didn't really enjoy it. I still think this is way too early to hold a ball. The queens had, at most, only been critiqued twice prior to this. If there's an issue with their aesthetic that they need to work on, this is too early to see that kind of change. This is one of the first times in the modern era of Drag Race that we really get to see it unfold. Gottmik's win here is absolutely ridiculous. I will go as far as to say that if a queen who is not a skinny white fashion girl had worn this outfit, they would have been safe. At absolute best, they almost definitely would have been in the bottom. This look was not good, and as strong as Gottmik's runway presentation was, this was not a good look. Season 14 is the pair of balls, and it is an absolute mess. This is way too early to have a ball challenge. I don't know what production was thinking. We are at final 14. No one has gone home yet. Additionally, the queens have only been critiqued once. This means that if there is any issue the judges have with that queen's personal style, there just hasn't been time to fix it. I do think the idea of having two different themes and two different groups, that works as an idea. In reality, though, it just didn't pan out. I really enjoyed this episode. I've done a whole video on it. I just don't think this was a good time to have a ball. Season 15 gave us the crystal ball at the final 9. It is the latest a ball has been in a while, and I really appreciate that. For all of the issues that I have with the ball challenge recently, this season was able to buck a lot of them. There may still have been 27 total looks, but that's honestly the best you can hope for these days. A lot of queens did well, a lot of queens got to show off their aesthetic. The ball challenge has absolutely collapsed. We went from the ball challenge being the gateway to the finale to being the mess that it has now become. There's too many looks, it happens way too early in the season. We need to get back to those final 5, final 4 balls. I have just finished watching the season 16 ball, and while this was a very good challenge with a lot of really good performances, it's still too many looks. There were 42 if I counted correctly. The ball challenge desperately needs to be fixed. The balls should be at final 6 at the absolute earliest. I do not like what has become of this challenge. It's still one of my favorite staple challenges. It just needs a lot of work. Hey, it's Drag Race Rejudged. Do you want gay shit? Well then check out the RuPaul's Drag Race Rejudged YouTube channel and hit subscribe.